Let's begin. Welcome to the AEM homepage. I'm going to show you how we create a brief in this workflow, and we're going to use the project dashboard, which looks at projects, and we're going to be moving assets through a photoshoot process. So let's start by creating the brief. So this is a wizard that allows us to create a brief for a cutout, for example. So there are three other types of brief that we can raise, which is a lifestyle brief and a retouch brief. So let's start with the cutout example. I can give it a unique name of anything, so I'm just going to name it Test MA 070. Give a little description about it, and then I'm also going to give it a start date using date picker, and then a delivery date for that photo shoot. So delivery date could be delivery to the website, for example. So a couple of the roles I want to just highlight here are things like the activity coordinator, who creates this brief in the first place, moving through to the photographer, then the retoucher, and then the post-production coordinator, and finally being delivered to, for example, the website. I'm going to upload a brief, a sample brief that I created beforehand, which just has some of the product details. So you can see here that CSV has been validated, and we can actually see if it's present in other briefs. Here as well, you can identify the end use. So the end use here, we're going to go with product launch, which pushes it to the online site, but there may be other uses such as marketing materials or packaging that these images need to be delivered to. So that can all be set here. So once you create your project, you then get the project dashboard. So this is a great representation of what the project looks like in flight. So you can see that I've got shots that are pending to be shot, and then I've also got assets counter here on the left hand side. So the very first task in this workflow is to set up the shoot dates. So I'm just going to go ahead and assume that those have now been done. I can then complete my task, and then the next step is for the photographer to shoot the assets. So if I go to the assets panel, as a photographer, I can either use the web interface to drag and drop images, or I can use the Adobe desktop app. So that's something that's highlighted in the slides. I will, for this demo, just drag and drop some images into the alt folders. So if you give me a second, you'll notice that there are other folders within the alt folders. So there's a composites folder. That composites folder is used for things like jewellery, where multiple angles need to be shot, and the retoucher needs those images in order to deliver a finished product. And then we've also got the reference folder, which lives in the outside here. So if there's any related information that needs to be kind of attached to the brief, it will be put in the reference folder. So if I say my main is this one, I think I've missed one. Give me a second. It's Alt5. So you can see I've now entered all of the alts required for this product, and I'm now able to go back to the project and see the changes in the project dashboard. So I think I showed you before, but there were beforehand 7 items requiring shooting. If I refresh, you can see that that status has now changed, and that these asset collections have started to populate. So the asset collections are always grouped in the following ways. So you've got one for the entire brief, so it shows you all of the images that have been shot or taken for the entire brief, and then there's also an asset collection per product. So if I had multiple products in this brief, you would see a different asset collection. So that allows the retouchers to do things like color match, and you can see here as well that the assets shot have been updated. Now, before I continue, I just want to show you the tasks. So you can see that automatically the next step of the workflow has been activated. So now the post-production coordinator needs to assign the assets to either an internal or an external retoucher. Now, the good thing about this is that if we assign it to an internal retoucher, that just anyone with AEM access can go in and leverage those assets and basically retouch them. But using the for the external retouchers, we are actually able to also share these assets with anybody with a Creative Cloud account. So that will be detailed in the slides. So for now, I'm just going to do internal retouch, and because I want to assign the entire product to internal retouch, I do that in the asset screen. So now that I've refreshed, I can go back and I can see that all of the tasks have been switched to local retouch asset. Now, I'm not a retoucher, so I'm actually going to say that actually these images are finished. As I said, I can access those images with AEM access or a Creative Cloud account, so I'm able to send these images to post-production. So the idea here is that once I've done my retouching, I'm stating to the post-production coordinator that these assets are ready to be delivered. So once all of the tasks have been completed, you will then see a final task created, which is shoot and QA to deliver. Now, clicking on releasing the brief actually pushes it to scene 7, which is where the website pulls the assets from. And finally, I just want to show you the dashboard one more time. So you've also got a representation of the images that have been shot. You can open up the asset collections, you can see the images side by side, you can see the assets that have been retouched, you can see like the last time they were amended, all sorts of information in each of those asset collections. And here as well, it tells you the status of any particular brief. So that's it. Thank you very much.